The air round Anfield is thick with the uncomfortable silence of a crisis nobody truly wants to address. A sudden, alarming shift that has transformed what was supposed to be the smoothest managerial transition in modern Premier League history into a flashing, red warning sign. The celebratory songs about the new manager have faded, replaced by the deep, unsettling suspicion that the great project inherited from Jurgen Klopp is falling apart under Arne Slot. Despite Slot's own initially impressive statistics, winning more of his first 50 league games than any manager in the club's history, the uncomfortable truth is that many of those victories were built upon the foundational strength of Klopp's squad, a team that had reached exhaustion before he departed. Now, after his own pre-season, his own choices, and a handful of uncontrollable setbacks, this is definitively his team, his structure, and his responsibility, and it is his failing the ultimate test in spectacular fashion, plunging the reigning champions into a mid-table abyss, just 11 matches into the season. The terrifying reality is that Liverpool are not collapsing by accident. They are collapsing because Slot is living the part of the job nobody warned him about. The chapter where the system breaks, the stars dim, and every single decision is magnified into a referendum on his competence. To truly understand the depth of this collapse, one must first appreciate the magnitude of the structure Slot walked into, a project defined by the cycles of breakdown and spectacular rebirth orchestrated by Jurgen Klopp. Klopp, the charismatic German, arrived in 2015 when Liverpool was a nostalgic giant, devoid of a Champions League trophy for years and decades without a league title. Yet he saw a foundation where others saw decay. Step by step, he rebuilt the club's identity, restoring the Anfield philosophy by constructing an attacking 4-3-3 powered by one of the best tridents in modern history, Luka, Mane, Salah, and Firmino, midfield that operated with telepathic clarity. His work in integrating foundational pieces like Virgil van Dijk and Alisson completed the puzzle, transforming a team of individuals into a machine capable of competing for every major honour, culminating in a Champions League victory and the long-awaited Premier League title. This glory, however, came at a steep cost, exhaustion and age. Klopp himself had to initiate a second rebuild, signing talents like McAllister, Nunez, Diaz, Gakpo and Gravenberch, leaving behind a competitive, upgraded team. Slot inherited a squad good enough to fight on all fronts and astonishingly won the league in his debut season, an achievement that quickly restored Liverpool's aura. This is precisely where the pressure began to suffocate, because the team he inherited and the team he is now are no longer the same. And that difference explains every single problem Liverpool is suffering today. A terrifying structural vulnerability that begins at the back. The defensive unit is currently at a breaking point, an instability that is the root cause of every subsequent collapse up the pitch. While Virgil van Dijk remains the nominal leader, the form of Ibrahima Konate has imploded completely, and Slot is facing a catastrophic lack of alternatives following the injury to backup centre-back Giovanni Leone and the failure to secure a high-profile signing on deadline day. So, this forces Slot into the untenable position of repeatedly deploying a struggling Konate next to a Van Dijk who looks increasingly exposed, particularly with the long-term absence of Alisson having exacerbated every defensive fault line by eroding confidence and communication across the entire backline. The statistics provide a damning indictment. 6 times Liverpool have conceded first and 6 times they have lost, which is not bad luck, but structural failure. A problem that begins and ends with Konate's loss of form. Last season, his partnership with Van Dijk was the foundation of a title blueprint, displaying pace, strength, and remarkable composure in the build-up. This season, he has been exposed relentlessly, slow in his reactions, poor in his judgment, and tactically targeted by opponents who saw the road. Weakness instantly, turning their side of the pitch into a tactical highway. This situation demands one immediate and brutal solution. Liverpool must sign a central defender in January. No excuses, no delays, and the clear answer is Marc Guehi. Guehi possesses the elite reading of the game, composure under pressure, and progressive distribution from the back that Liverpool desperately needs, offering the stability, leadership, and versatility to play across the defensive line that is priceless for a squad in this crisis. For a squad in this state of crisis, Without him, there is simply no realistic fix to the defensive collapse that continues to dismantle the entire system. This structural problem extends directly into the club's defining feature, the press. Yeah? Liverpool's high-intensity pressing is not merely inconsistent. It is fundamentally broken, a breakdown that stems from the fact that the team no longer has the personnel to power its high-octane, out-of-possession identity. The loss of a figure like Luis Diaz, who pressed like a demon from the front, and the shifting around of other key players has left a void in the high press that replacements like Hugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz are still struggling to fill, lacking the physical, chaotic instinct the classic German press demands. Slot has tried to adjust the structure into an asymmetrical formation, but the outcome remains unchanged. Opponents are easily bypassing the press with long balls, forcing rivals to stop taking risks in their own half once they score first, leading to fewer pressing triggers, fewer regains, and fewer chances created from the trademark chaos. The numbers confirm this decline, with key statistics like high regains per match having visibly dropped, a difference that is enormous at the elite level of the Premier League Compounding this, Mohamed Salah no longer possesses the physical output to lead the first line of defence for long stretches, and asking him to do so creates a ripple effect where the front three cannot consistently trigger the necessary high pressure. The solution is brutal but necessary. Slot must begin building a pressing culture without Salah as the primary presser, experimenting with a forward line that includes Ekitike and Gakpo, backed by a midfield, Ekitike and Gakpo, backed by a midfield capable of compressing space and chasing second balls with aggression. Crucially, a pairing of Mark Guehi and Van Dijk completely changes Liverpool's ability to defend the long balls opponents use to bypass the broken press, creating the necessary backbone for the team to finally sustain pressure and defend transitions like a proper top four side. Finally, the attacking unit is in a profoundly fragile state, with every issue connecting to the next in a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle of dysfunction. The financial logic behind selling Luis Diaz was perhaps sound, but the failure to sign a like-for-like replacement has left a gaping hole on the wing, resulting in a squad that started the season with only two natural wide players, Salah and Gakpo, with expensive acquisitions like Wirtz and Ekitike. Struggling to thrive in wide areas where they must beat fullbacks and carry the ball 30 yards up the pitch. Without the passing range of a player like Trent Alexander-Arnold to break open games from deep, the entire attacking structure suffers, and the simple fact is that possession no longer sticks, proven by the alarming rise in turnover rates for key attackers like Salah and Gakpo. Furthermore, neither Ekitike nor the record signing, Alexander Isak, plays like a true target man, failing to hold the ball, relieve pressure or drag defensive lines back, leading to further isolation. The role of Salah has become a dilemma of its own. The system was built to allow him to conserve energy and explode in the final third, which made sense when his output was world-class. But now that the goals have dried up, opponents are mercilessly targeting his flank. Knowing he cannot be expected to press, defend, and score simultaneously. The most pressing issue remains the situation surrounding Alexander Isak, the club's most expensive signing, who has endured one of the toughest starts in the club's history, having failed to score a single league goal since his arrival. The psychological weight of the fee is immense, but the deeper problem is his lack of a proper pre-season with the squad, leading to a crippling lack of understanding of the automatisms, rotations, and chemistry required for a world-class front line. Talent without cohesion is simply chaos, and Slot's mission is now brutally simple. He must turn Isak back into a functioning striker, lean on the profiles he actually has, and execute difficult changes. Such as playing Wirtz wide where he previously succeeded and moving Isak central where he belongs. Just as Klopp inherited a broken team and rebuilt it, Slot inherited a jewel, reshaped it, and now must suffer through this period of profound difficulty before he can succeed. This is his test, and if he fails to get the best out of his key attackers and integrate them into a coherent system, the Reds risk drifting further and permanently away from the elite status they once enjoyed.